If you're only trading TQQQ, are you missing out on other opportunities? Great question. Most traders think that TQQ is the only leverage ETF that matters. TNA just started a strong move. Will it keep pace with TQQ? If you say no, you may be wrong. Hey, I'm Dennis Wilborn, and after 30 years of swing trading, I've learned that the biggest opportunities often show up where the crowd isn't paying attention. By the end of this video, you're going to see a side-by-side comparison of TQQ and TNA that most traders miss completely. Let's go to the charts. If you like training videos and market updates like this, don't forget to subscribe so you can catch our weekly videos and updates. Got a couple of more leverage ETF videos planned. You don't want to miss out on that. Hey, before we get into the comparison directly with TQQQ and TNA, let's take a look at what their performance has been since the inception. And you'll see here with TQQQ, from the time of inception, this is a monthly chart you see behind me. It has moved, buy and hold, 37,000, some people say 35,000 percentage points. Okay, that's in other words, if you would have put in $10,000 back in 2011, that would be worth $3.5 million now. However, you would have had some pullbacks, which I'll talk about in a future video, about $1 million mistake I made. As you see, these rough pullbacks that basically rip your face off. So that's what's going on with TQQ. So we have to get TQQ its creds because it has been a strong performer almost since its inception. If you learn how to do a nice swing trading system like AutoPilot Trading, you can basically know when to enter, know when to exit. Not going to get necessarily the full move, but you can cut out that prime area right in the middle. So what makes up TQQQ? Well, it's the three-time leverage ETF of the NASDAQ, and that covers a lot of mega cap stocks. It has really clean trends, clean pullbacks, and buying the dip could be hugely rewarding. So what happens when leadership starts rotating away from the crowded tech trade and into smaller companies? Where are you going to go? That's where TNA comes from. You know, I just love saying TNA. It's so fun. But it came available back in 2008. And how is it done? This looks like it's been kind of flat, but if you would have bought at the open back in 2008 to where it is right now, it's up 660%. Now, that's nothing to sneeze about. That's a pretty good opportunity there, but it doesn't come close to comparing with what the heck that TQQQ has done over the same time period. So, should we just throw TNA out and not worry about it at all? What do you think? Yes or no? Throw it out or pay attention to it? So, what about the side by side comparison? We already know what it does with a buy and hold type of situation. Again, TNA, big drops. Let's see what that drop was right there. About 87%. During that same time period, TQQ dropped about 70 plus percent. So TNA, more volatile than TQQQ, and doesn't appear to be providing as great of patterns as TQQQ does. But is that really a totally fair comparison? If you're tired of trading by feel and want exact green light setups for TNA and TQQQ, and the rest of our stable of leverage that we deliver every week to our members with a full plan on how to trade it, then you need to check out the AutoPilot Trading Leverage ETF service. Busy professionals use it to stay disciplined without staring at the screen all day long. The link's in the description. Let's get on to checking out the side-by-side comparison. Okay, side-by-side comparison of TQQQ and TNA. What about the runs? As you can see, we get similar type of signals, TSI bouncing off the zero line back here and back here. How do we compare these runs? Well, one, TQQQ triggered a little bit earlier back in December of 2018. It ran up for a quick 132%. Notice, same trigger on TNA, it triggered off and ran up approximately 120%. What about later in the year, beginning of 2019? TQQQ went on a wild run. It ran up 1,036%. Think about that. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to be able to capture all of that move. However, what I try to target is to pick up at least half of a big move like this. That's the target. Does it happen every time? No, it doesn't. So this isn't a promise of here's what we're going to do. We're going to make all this money off this. But we need to be aware of what entities or what leverage ETFs that are moving the most. So 1,000 points, yeah, 1,000% to the upside. What about TNA? Same time period. How much did it run? 1,033%. Hmm. So that's 2 points in time where we almost had the same results on TNA that we had for TQQQ. What about some of these other points? Well, here's one here. It took off from there on TQQQ. The first run up ran up about 188%. Notice, though, that over here on TNA, that was congestion. What was going on? Were the interest rates rising during that time frame back in 2022 into 2023, and therefore we weren't getting much traction? Or do we need to dive a little deeper and find out, well, how much did it actually move? We've already established that this run, PQQQ, in October 2022, put on a nice bottom, tested the support several times, and then took off and made this initial run. If we go to the same date, which is there, how much did TNA run? Well, TNA did run 70%. Oh, so how does that compare again? On its first run, 192%. So looks like TQQ is slightly in the lead. But what about this next pullback, which is right here? Ran up, and I'll just take it up to this past high here, 207%. That corresponds to this low here on TQQ. How far did it run? 161%. And so if you remember during this time frame, the small caps were really, really struggling. Well, what about our last point? Our last point is this one here that happened in April 2025. As you can see, TQQQ ran up 342%. How does that compare over here on TNA? 275%. So on the last several moves, TQQQ outpaced TNA. So what's our takeaway from that? Our takeaway from that is, yes, TQQQ, going back to 2019, has performed on swing trading better than TNA. But TNA has still done, we get an honorable mention. And is it something that we want to be aware of for a potential move? You let me know what your vote is. Again, the question is, do we just disregard TNA, or is it something to include in your stable of leveraged ETF that you might want to be trading? So if you made up your mind, choosing the right index is step one. But knowing exactly where to place your targets is how you pay yourself consistently. So watch the next video, be up there, to see other examples of how the autopilot trading system works in your favor.